All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Noragami, Season 2, Episode 11. Yato was pulled back to the Underworld. Okay.
And Ebisu, he wants to go back to the Olive Tavern.
Olive Tavern, yes.
And have another meal there.
Get those unlimited breadsticks. Yeah.
That's all you needed to say. 5 yen, you owe me.
Yep. Who wouldn't want to have more unlimited breadsticks? I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's sweet because Ebisu, being the character that was told from a young age, you're basically, set up to die. You're going to basically do your part.
Yep.
And you'll be succeeded by another. Hey, it is what it is,
Right.
That's what it is. Yeah. And here we basically have the connection between him and his mother through the Underworld there.
Yes. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's its own thing as well.
But we also have Hiyori remembering because she had an encounter with Yukine, and now they're outside the Underworld entrance trying to open it, but it can't be done. So that's a thing. Yeah.
And Kazuma, over back where the Gods of Fortune are, who
being a Chad, as usual.
Who were under house arrest of sorts because of everything going on with Ebisu. Kazuma shows up and is just like, restrained. No,
exactly.
No, I'm the best. I'm the best regalia other than Yukine in this show.
Exactly.
Bow down, everybody.
We also did have something of some kind of bear spider transformation.
Yeah, I just kind of selectively removed that from my mind.
Glossing past that, yeah.
Yeah.
But the idea of the gods
no, it came back.
Going into conflict, going to war with heaven or whatever, like that's...
Affleck? What?
Yeah, exactly. They got to have that insurance. That'd be interesting to see because
I do feel like this is being set up in a way where we have forces at play behind the scenes that are setting up basically now Ebisu to basically die, to have Yato take the fall for this, instigating some kind of conflict between the gods. But to what end?
We shall have to see.
Just to get the locution brush?
Possibly. I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
So that then that could be used to, make the phantom regalia and all that stuff.
Made a vent with it. So
yeah, it's a good magic item.
Pretty powerful. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion.
And people wonder why I have an armor fetish. Did y'all see this?
Y'all see that?
Like, Bishomon just being like, nah, step back. I got this.
I don't even need your help, Kofuku. You stay up here and just keep the vents open.
Yukine, you don't need to sully your name. No.
Nah.
We're plenty. All right, let's go.
Also, badass, like legit looking armor design as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. This ain't no
yeah, you know
armor.
What I was meaning. Yeah, exactly.
And yes, that's a whole debate with art and all that stuff. And yes, art, fantasy, and all that stuff. You draw
Let's
whatever
not
you
even
want
get into it.
Right.
Yeah.
But goddamn, Bishomon looked so badass.
And her coming here and this being her moment of action, taking after her having her whole arc and development and stuff, and realizing Yato's role in her past is one that she can actually forgive.
Yeah.
It is really powerful here because now it's real because she's doing this in great risk to not only herself and her regalia, but, to everyone else that needs her.
Yep.
She can't fail them.
Also, so this is maybe a minor thing that I want to point out, right? But I think the armor in particular, the fact that, so I'm going to, before I go super specific, I'm going to sort of slowly zoom in. Leave it to Noragami, right? To have all these awesome, badass moments that happen really be the growth of the characters, right? That's on full display here, right? And if we look at Bishamon and what her struggle over the course of the series was, it was learning to be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Vulnerable with herself and with the people around her and honest and all of that good stuff, right?
Yep.
And that's how things with her and Yato and her and Kazuma and her other regalia were able to be mended, right?
Yep.
So I think it's rather fitting that in this situation where she originally in her design was the one that was the brash and yes, showing a lot of skin or whatever, but the I'm a badass, it's all like wear my heart on my sleeve kind of a thing, right?
Right.
But she wasn't really, right? Here, now that she has learned to basically be vulnerable, now she is invulnerable with the armor. And then when the thing comes up, she just, nah, that's fine. Weapon, what's that? I just grab the hair. Boom. Because that's how awesome it is when you have people around you.
And the regalia that is in standing there for the armor is Aiha, the one that basically went through that whole development as well.
The one that hurt her, the one where you know, like there was all of these bad things that happened as a result, basically, right?
Yeah.
And here Yato is, and he's trapped, like he's trapped literally right now because Izanami has him, you know.
Yeah.
But even before this, he was trapped by Nora physically, but then he was also trapped by her emotionally even before then, right? Because of the past and the history and who he used to be and all of that stuff, right?
Yep.
And the fact that he had that conversation with Nora in the underworld where they actually started to like just be people together, right? Like there was this part of me that was all defensive of like, hold on, don't go recontextualizing things with Nora. No, it's a bad relationship. He needs to get out of that, right? But that acceptance of
that vulnerability and acknowledgement that they've been through so much together. She's never actually blighted him.
Right.
I really do feel like that's part of the thing that about this that makes it really complicated is that, for one, she's never blighted him. So she's never crossed the horrible threshold. But she is a reminder of his past, one that he wants to sever. And this is the way he said, he's like, I need to sever ties with my old man there.
Right.
But she never transformed into an imperial regalia for him. There's the key difference there. Is that there's
nothing
a top
risked,
end.
nothing gained.
Yeah, there's a threshold at the bottom where it's you shouldn't go below that. But you know, maybe it's actually okay to go below that.
Because when you're vulnerable, you get hurt. That's part of what happens. But it's important that you can let that happen because that's when you can actually grow as a person, right?
Or grow in a relationship. In this case, then you have Yukine, who grows, transforms into an imperial regalia, showing that the relationship between Yato and Yukine has gotten that strong. So, fantastic.
And to the point where Kugaha can make his whole spiel of, I am Nora, I am the most powerful, blah, blah, imperial regalia couldn't compare.
Right. In his monologuing, he did actually give some interesting info regarding the idea that Noras are regarded this way because gods and other regalia are afraid of the fact that they can't immediately or easily name them, which inhibits a lot of magical effects from taking place.
Great mechanics behind it. I love it. And the fact that he ended up telling Yukine Nora's name, Hiro, that's okay. That I like just logging that away, you know, because I'm sure that won't be important in the future at some point, you know.
Nope, not at all. I do feel like this episode kind of gave us a little bit of the like, okay, a couple things are getting expedited for the sake of the plot, and Kugaha just kind of randomly showing up and then monologuing and then not actually doing a restrain thing, which is the one way he could have instantly won.
Which I believe is like he did similar stuff to Kazuma, so I'll put it up to basically delusions of grandeur and him gloating and things like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, so but Kazuma's training, you know, was able to be brought up, right? And the fact that, you know, Hiyori was able to be like, hey, Yukine, I know you've been putting a bold face on it, right? But this stuff has been concerning you. It's been bothering you, right? And I totally get that. Just remember, Yato chose you. He absolutely loves you, right? It's, even though it may be complicated right now, you know, we're a family. We're like this, right? That's not changing.
Yeah, I think what's really important here regarding the themes of the show is that all these characters who show up here to create a vent to jump into the underworld all understand that they're very, very, very different people and have very different ways in which they go about their lives and doing things. And yet they're all willing to come together over the fact that they all have a genuine connection with Yato. Yato, who's down in the underworld, afraid that no one remembers him. Well, no humans at the very least. And here he is with this entire squad, this massive group of people that are all like, yeah, we're going to go in after him. In fact, your once mortal enemy, hunting you down, tried to kill you, is going to be the one leading the charge to come after you.
Going into the most dangerous of places where it's like, no, don't even think about actually fighting, which I love that she says before she proceeds to, like, fight and you'd beat the face in and whatnot.
To be fair, she is not trying to harm the body,
right?
Which is basically showing that she's mostly just defending.
She's taken the action economy, like, all right, I'm going to disorient and all that stuff,
right,
and
so
then
I can take a full move action to dash.
Exactly, to hopefully free Yato and get out of there, right?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, it's the no. This is the real shit right here. Like this is a bad situation even for a god. We are just going to get in, get Yato, and get out, hopefully.
Yeah. Now, Ebisu brought up the idea that there's something that Hiyori can do.
Yeah.
I'm all for Hiyori being able to do something, even though she's in the world of spirits and gods and, regalia and all that. But it's because she's a human,
right.
near shore and all that. But Ebisu bringing this up, I don't know if there's anything off the top of my head other than what we talked about.
Right, of some sort of fervent prayer. Yeah.
Right. The idea of showing that she has belief, faith,
yep.
A connection, a desire, a wish, all these things to see Yato again, or at least that she remembers him and stuff. He should be able to know that. And she is ultimately his truest follower in that regard. She gave him a shrine. Like that moved him to tears. So
we saw the Band-Aids on her fingers.
Yeah. There's a very real possibility that there's something already introduced in the mechanics that, given a specific highlight lens, would very much help Yato here. It's just a question of, is it that, or is it something where Hiyori might have to sacrifice potentially something?
I don't know. I really hope that Ebisu isn't like, hey, actually, if you do go in there and do some sort of sacrificial thing, it'll all turn out. I don't think that's what it's going to be at all. But there is that little part of me that's worried. What are you thinking?
I just thought of something that's been relevantly brought up as a mechanic more recently.
Okay.
And that is the idea of succession. Here's a weird way of thinking about this. Ebisu's whole thing with his character has been about him not necessarily valuing who he is because he doesn't know who he is, because based on what the moniker of the god that he brings up, even his own legend as a god is not consistent over the years because so many people's perception of him has changed, and he's gone and prayed by different names and all that, to where he's kind of lost as a kid, and you kind of feel for him because it's like, oh shit, this whole god succession thing is pretty absolute and kind of rough. But Yato brought up in this episode is like, at least you have basically someone that can succeed you.
Right, because they mentioned earlier the whole idea that, if the one way a god can truly be destroyed is if they're in a situation like Yato, where no one really knows about them, and then they die, then they're just gone.
Yeah, so here's a jank way that my dumb D&D PC brain would probably think this up is, you actually need to forget about Yato. So run with me on this here.
Okay.
You need to let Yato basically disappear so that he can then be remembered.
Outside of the Underworld or something?
Well, and then he'll be succeeded, essentially.
Right, but I don't think
it won't be Yato.
But then it wouldn't be Yato,
exactly.
The thing, right?
So
and that's why
it doesn't work.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking about that too.
But maybe Succession does have something in it where there's some wiggle room, because we don't.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
And because the show has done a really good job of building up how impossible it is to get out of this situation, right? Every time that we think Yato's going to be able to escape or whatever.
I mean, he's bamboozled her 3 times. It's just the duration of time he gets to bamboozle her. Oh, no, I'm not in there.
Yes, there has been a lot of bamboozling, but it's very much a thing of, but you're not actually, getting away.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's the whole thing of okay, Jack Sparrow, you have some tricks and things and whatnot, but eventually someone's going to bean you over the back of the head with a bottle, right?
Yep.
Except the person who does that will always be her because she's just sort of everywhere, right? And now she literally has you strung up in her direct presence, not like, reeling you back in.
Away where she doesn't have sight of you or...
Right, and Yato is starting to fight back, and I totally am all for him being like, "Okay, Nora, let's work together." Like, because okay, if we're talking badass moments in synergy with character growth, right?
Yeah,
Yato definitely has some growth that can be done and realizations and things like that about his connections with Hiyori and Yukine and all that means and whatnot. But I would say the biggest connection that needs to be resolved actually is with Nora.
Yeah.
And originally this whole arc started because he was going to go there to fix that connection in something that would be a severing, right? An actual like we're done, right?
Yep.
But given how this has been going, there's a part of me that wonders if it's not just a resolution of Yato's connection with Nora, but Nora's connection with Yato. What if, and this sounds crazy to say, but what if they ended up resolving Nora's feelings regarding Yato and also Hiyori and Yukine? What if somehow she actually got brought into the fold?
Who?
Nora, Hiro.
She's already here.
No. But into the family of 3.
Oh, I could see that, except for the fact that her father is...
Yeah.
Well, their father.
And that whole complicated situation, and Yato still being like, gotta cut ties with the old man, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, because...
I do think there is this aspect of the story that is trying to make sure we understand that Nora is not evil, necessarily.
Right.
No one is really evil in this story. Like, every person that we've seen thus far has a part of them that has not humanity, but something that is redeemable or good, or has something that is something that is understandable.
Right. And so far the probably the biggest one that's been the hardest to see for that is Nora, but we do know that, okay, she really does care about Yato, right?
Yeah.
Like,
she's never blighted him.
Right?
So even if she doesn't understand her actions and what she's doing,
they don't have a healthy dynamic,
She believes she's doing the right thing.
Right,
and
exactly.
Thus never has any ill will towards him specifically.
And the one thing that I could see potentially holding Yato/Nora back in this situation, since they're both bound together right now, is that Yato is wanting to get back so that he can cut ties with his old man, get back to Hiyori and Yukine. Nora doesn't want that to happen.
So they need to actually synergize. Which means Yato needs to make the first move and reach out to her.
Right. And if there was some way that they could basically say, nah, to hell with, the impossible or improbable, whatever, cake and eat it, both answers, you can be part of the family, just, don't try and kidnap me or anything like that, You
can see me on Tuesdays, but I'm going to have to basically have my limits as to what I'm willing to do, and it's going to involve me severing ties probably with Dad. Pops.
And I could see potentially her being okay with that if she got to still stay with Yato.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because, like, the thing that I get the feeling is that and this is totally... a stretch, maybe, right? Okay. It's going out on a limb, right? But Nora always said that, Yato, you were the one who first made me a Nora in the first place, right? So who would have been the god that she was a regalia to before? I'm guessing it was their dad.
Well, does he have to be a god, though?
I'm guessing. Like, I mean, okay, he doesn't have to be, but assuming that he's a god, right? I could totally see that being, especially since if they were together since, like, basically forever, right? She never once blighted him.
Yeah, but that... Yeah.
But what if that was the original connection, right? And then it's something where... And I don't know how they would sell this, to fully be cathartic in the moment, since the Nora that we've known up till now has been so different, Like, or not different, but the perspective that we saw of her...
that well.
Right, exactly. We only got one perspective, right? How they would do that in this moment, I'm not sure, right? But imagine if that was then something where it's then the connection with the old man needs to be dealt with in some, way, shape, or form, so that it can have a good, wholesome resolution, Yeah,
I would want it to be Nora and Yato. staring him down.
Because it seems like something that would be so tough to actually make work, but that if it did somehow happen, it would be unbelievably awesome.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool also to have the moment where Nora's with the group.
Yeah.
Because she seems to always go to Yato and try to avoid everyone else.
Right, when he's
or to
alone.
pull him away from everyone else, which is why I primarily in the beginning just she reviled me, and because it's big manipulative energy.
Abusive, like
just manipulative at the very least.
Well, sure, but because the things that I'm doing I know aren't good, I'm going to make sure that you're not around anybody that will be able to tell you that the things I'm doing are really not good.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But oh boy.
Well, good luck, Saber. I mean, Bishamon, you
keep
got
rocking
this.
that outfit and kicking ass. It's awesome.
And I'm so proud of you.
Yes, that's so.
You've come so far.
That's so vindicating for Iha to be like, no. You are very useful here, and you help out in ways
perfect for this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, Kazuma, just in general, whenever he's just with Bishamon and they're just being there. They're just one person squad army,
Right.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things about this show creatively. But okay, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, info for that is in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.